This is MX17 installed on my internal hard drive, which I've been using now as my main operating system for several weeks. With my last video about MX17, I said I was likely to install it as my main system and decided to do so shortly thereafter. Let me explain the reason why. I was using Ubuntu 17.10, specifically Xubuntu with the XFCE desktop, and I was quite satisfied with it except for one thing. As I said in another previous video, I was having trouble with my Epson scanner, which I've had for 8 years and has worked with every version of Ubuntu up until 17.10. And I won't go over that problem again, but you can check out that video. I've linked it in the notes below, as well as the notes to my previous review of MX17. But I was willing to accept that problem and use another operating system when I needed to use that scanner, because I always have several operating systems on remote drives. However, MX17 was so tempting because my scanner works with MX17, and so does my Brother printer, my HP printer, my HP scanner, etc. Everything works with MX17, and one of the criteria I have for installing an operating system is that it has to work with my equipment, and unfortunately Ubuntu 17.10 didn't fulfill that criterion. Now here's the heart of the problem. As you can see, MX17, which is based on Debian stable, has libsane version 1.0.25-4.1. That's one of many, including earlier versions, that is required as a dependency for my Epson scanner and dozens of other scanners, I might add. But in Ubuntu 17.10, it had libsane 1 experimental. It didn't have libsane. Now, in doing a little investigation, I found that all of the current Debian versions, not only Debian stable, but also Debian unstable and testing, all have an acceptable version of libsane, so my scanner and those dozens of other scanners will work with current versions of Debian. Why I chose MX17 over other versions of Debian, just happened to have it handy and happened to have it in mind, having just done a review of it. But it's also a lot easier to install and use than pure Debian, and it comes with lots of enhancements that would take you quite a while to install on pure Debian. It happens that my laptop was one of those that was theoretically affected by the bug which allowed Ubuntu 17.10 to corrupt the BIOS of some computers. However, that's not the reason I switched. In fact, I had no problems with the BIOS on my computer, even though it was listed as one of the vulnerable ones. And perhaps that's because I installed it in legacy mode and did not use EFI, but I'm not sure of the reason. So don't be too confident. If you're going to use Ubuntu 17.10, I suggest downloading the 17.10.1 ISOs. But to be completely safe, check the Ubuntu websites. Another thing I mentioned in my previous video is that I was able to get current version of MuseScore, which is 2.1, as an app image, whereas the version in the Debian repositories 2.03 had lots of problems that had been solved with version 2.1. I was also able to get a newer version of Kdenlive as an app image. Here's Kdenlive 17.12, As I mentioned before, with these app images, you can open them once you've set them up properly just by double-clicking on the file name. But you can also install them on the panel. As you can see here, I've installed MuseScore and a second version of Kdenlive. Now, there are many ways of doing this. There's an app image daemon, which you can get from GitHub. You can Google that to find it and download it. There's also an excellent article in issue 745, 8th of January 2018 of the DistroWatch Weekly, under Tips and Tricks by Jesse Smith, which shows how to add an app image to the application menu using the terminal. I'm not going to go into that here, but you can look that up in the DistroWatch archives. However, I added both MuseScore and Kdenlive 1712 using the MX menu editor. Now you can get that from MX Tools, or you can just right-click on the MX menu and then click on Edit Applications, and you get the MX menu editor. You can see under Multimedia, I have MuseScore 2.1, and I added this information to the menu editor. Under Command, all I had to do is click on these three dots and go to the file. It starts looking for programs, but I found the file here. Of course, I don't want to open it again. I've already added that. I had a little trouble finding an icon, so I downloaded one from the internet, and I went to User Share Icons and just added it at the bottom. Now, to edit this, you have to open your file browser as root. First, I'm going to View Hidden Files, Show Hidden Files. And then I'm going to go up one into the file system, double-click on User, double-click on Share, then double-click on Icons. Now to edit this, I have to be root, so I go to File, Open Root Thunar here. Warning, you are using the root account, you may harm your system. That's true, but that allowed me to paste in this icon for MuseScore and then save the file again. So that was the simple way of adding app images to the menu. Now, the only thing I've been unable to figure out is how you delete something from the menu with this menu editor. There doesn't seem to be a way, and I'm sure there is. I just haven't found out what it is yet. So here's MuseScore 2.1. And as you can see, it works. Now, I installed Kdenlive quite easily using the MX package manager. But as you can see, it's version 16.12.2. Now here's the app image of Kdenlive, and it's version 17.12.0, which I believe is the latest one or close to it. However, this version of Kdenlive froze every time I tried to add a new file to the project, so I ended up having to use the older version to edit this video. Now I reconfigured the desktop as I did in my previous video. The way I like it, it's unimaginative. It's the traditional GNOME 2 look, but it's very useful. It's very productive. I haven't found anything more productive, and that's why I still use this configuration. Since this little box has turned green, that means I have an update, so let me use this opportunity to show you how the Update Manager works. It's a distribution upgrade. Now the difference between a distribution upgrade and a regular upgrade is a regular upgrade will upgrade a particular application or series of applications, but it won't upgrade all of the dependencies. A distribution upgrade will upgrade the applications plus the dependencies. So I'm going to do the distribution upgrade. Notice I've checked automatically answer yes to all prompts during upgrade, distribution upgrade. So here it goes. And what I like about this is even though I may not understand everything that's going on, I can see what's going on. I can see that something is going on. Whereas with certain other operating systems, the names of which I won't mention, you're treated like an idiot, and it just tells you that we're doing something. Something is happening. You're too stupid to know what it is. So this is finished, so I can press any key to close the terminal. That's all there is to it. It's simple. It lets you know what's happening. Gives you choices about what to do. Doesn't take all day. Just another feather in the cap of MX Linux. And I must say, most Linux versions, although the GNOME software upgrade process frequently is beginning to act more like that other operating system, it doesn't let you know what's going on. It makes you shut down and restart your computer to finish installing the updates, etc. So I like this one much better. As I've said before, MX17 is very fast. It probably slows down a little because of Simple Screen Recorder, but I like the way things snap into view quickly and disappear just as quickly. It's also very quick to load and very quick to shut down. So those are just a few of the reasons why I'm now using MX17 on my internal drive for daily use. This is XRAM Tech. Thanks for watching.